Muslim rulers didn't tax churches during the Ottoman period. They were very kind to Christians. They took care of our holy sites. They had a law protecting Christian pilgrims.
The Muslim rulers of the Holy Land rebuilt the Church of the Holy Sepulchre 3 times.
3 times. It's been the Islamic authorities who've had control in that region, that because of the Islamic view of Jesus, they've actually been quite kind.
What is the Islamic view of Jesus?
They're actually quite fond of him. They believe that Jesus was sent by God, that he was of God, that he said true things, that he performed real miracles, and that he's actually coming again.
Muslims believe Jesus is coming again?
They do. But you and I both know that Christians are not treated well in Israel at all.
No, they're not. In fact, they're the subject of a lot of hostility and in a lot of cases, violence. And it's interesting how many Christians were expelled from their lands and their homes in 1948 with the foundation of the formation of the State of Israel.
Well, the church there is still having their property confiscated to this day for settlement. You know, with the Orthodox Church, Israel closed their bank or froze their bank account because they didn't pay their tax. It was a tax that they just suddenly threw on them. All this time, they've not had to pay that tax. Israel throws it on them. They couldn't afford it because it was years' worth, and they confiscated their bank account and threatened to take their property. The Ottomans didn't charge churches tax. And so when the Ottomans were in control of the Promised Land for 400 years, in the millet system, they didn't charge churches tax. Israel started just a few years ago. And, so that Christians have pressure applied to them. I mean, native believers, the ones whose churches have been there longer than Israel has been a state, they're the ones that are facing the pressure that it's very hard to get Christians in America to care about at all.
And their Muslim rulers didn't do that during the Ottoman period.
Okay, so the answer is no. The Muslim rulers didn't tax churches during the Ottoman period. They were very kind to Christians. As a matter of fact, they took care of our holy sites. They had Islamic authorities rebuilt the Church of the Sepulchre 3 different times over the centuries. They had a law protecting Christian pilgrims on their journey. Like nobody messed with the pilgrims.
The Ottoman Turks, the Muslim rulers of the Holy Land, rebuilt the Church of the Holy Sepulchre 3 times?
3 times, yeah. Either completely rebuilt it or a major renovation. One time it caught on fire and they redid the roof. But if you've seen the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, you can imagine what it took to redo that.
No, it's an enormous.
It's
roof. Enormous and decaying. Sadly, it's an amazing place.
Well, a lot of those sites have started to decay since 1948.
That one definitely is decaying. Yeah. And just physically, the physical building, the plant, is kind of falling apart.
Some of the opposition to the Zionist project in Great Britain in the 1940s was on account of the Muslim authorities having taken such good care of our Christian sites that it was a bit of a gamble to let Jewish authorities do that. You know, I've heard people say if it wasn't for Israel, we wouldn't be able to go visit our holy sites. There wouldn't even be holy sites anymore. And it's like, who do you think has been taking care of them this whole time? It's been the Islamic authorities who've had, control in that region, that because of the Islamic view of Jesus, they've actually been quite kind to the holy sites in the region.
What is the Islamic view of Jesus?
Well, I don't want to say that Muslims have a high view of Jesus. The reason is because Jesus is not fictional. Jesus is real. Jesus of Nazareth is a real biological person. To this day, he still exists. He's in heaven. He's not here. I would say that Muslims have a false view of Jesus. It's not the real view of Jesus, but they're actually quite fond of him. And so they believe that Jesus was sent by God, that he was of God, that he said true things, that he performed real miracles, and that he's actually coming again. That doesn't make them Christians. It doesn't mean that
Muslims believe Jesus is coming again?
they do. As a prophet, not as the
Right.
Messiah, but they believe in his return.
So there's been an effort to propagandize American Christians on this question in churches as well.
Yeah, I don't know how official it is, but it's when you listen to Christians talk about Islam, they'll say things like, well, we've got to maintain good relationships with Israel because Islam and Christianity are natural enemies. But honestly, it's Rabbinic Judaism and Christianity that historically has been at odds. It's the idea that Christians and Jews have gotten along this whole time and that we have to band together to protect ourselves against the Muslims is a very recent notion. This wasn't something that was ever posited like before the 20th century. That part is brand new. And it comes from, the Jewish talking points that you see on the television and the news constantly.
So it's a political construct that's been accepted as a theological reality by American Christians.
I would say that's the case. There's so much crossover between what is political and what is theological when it comes to Israel that sometimes it's really hard to determine what is theological propaganda and what is political propaganda.
Yes.
Because when it's being done to us, the people doing it, for them, it's all political propaganda. They're not trying to change our religion when they tell us this stuff as Christians. They just want us to have a different political perspective. They have to come at it from the angle of theology.
Yes.
Right? And so that's the sad thing about dispensationalism is at the heart of it, there are people who really believe this.
For sure.
Darby believed it. I think Schofield believed it. Christians today, they believe it. They're very committed to it, but it's being promoted and propagated by people who don't believe it at all.
And who don't care one way or the other.
No, but they find it very helpful, for their purposes.
So one of those interested parties is the actual government of Israel.
Yep.
What is the government of Israel doing to convince American Christians that supporting the secular state of Israel is their religious duty? Like what does that propaganda campaign look like?
$729 million through their public diplomacy unit is what they call it. $729 million, that was budgeted for the year 2026. They have a part of that, $729 million for public diplomacy called Project 545, which is a $145 million budget set aside to affect or manipulate AI and search engine results